Okay. All right, let's call this meeting to order. This is our regular council meeting, and if we can please call the roll.
Yes, Mayor Bright Cruz,
Here.
Vice Mayor Jablonski,
Here.
Councilmember Albritton.
Jim,
Councilmember Albritton,
Yep, Jim, calling the roll. Are you here?
Here.
Councilmember Hartman,
Here.
and Councilmember Kaczynski.
Present.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Great. If you'll please join me in the pledge.
Yeah, just one.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Welcome, everybody. Good to see everyone here this evening. All right. So I think we will start off with a presentation from WM, Waste Management. Barbara? Awesome. Great. Welcome. We're excited to see our new service begin here in just a few days. And so thank you for coming this evening and introducing it.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, and staff. We're so happy to be here today. We're 1 week to go, correct?
Right.
My name is Barbara Herrera. I am a Government Affairs Manager for WM, formerly known as Waste Management. And I have my team here today. I have the Senior Fleet Manager, Justin Warnemont. I have the District Manager of the hauling site, Jean Dethalus. And I have the Route Manager for the town of Southwest Ranches, Leighton Francis.
Awesome. Thank you.
So these fine gentlemen
Welcome.
are here today to answer any questions that you may have. If I can't answer them, certainly I'll defer to them. So without further ado, if we can start. I have a very brief presentation, Mayor.
Very good.
Okay, very good. So I simply wanted to have this opportunity to update you on the transition of service in Southwest Ranches, but I also wanted to take a moment to just tell you a little bit about ourselves. You've certainly heard of us. You know that we're the big green trucks, but I wanted to just let you know a little bit about what it is that we do and what we will bring to the table here for Southwest Ranches. Okay, next slide. No problem. There you go. So I want to assure you and your residents and your business community that we will be ready to start our service come October 1, which is next Saturday. Okay, next slide. So a little bit about us. In Florida, our local area, we are a company with basically statewide support. So certainly WMIF, which is Waste Management Inc. of Florida, a subsidiary of WM. We have 32 hauling facilities, 18 active landfills, 24 transfer stations, 3 material recovery facilities. They're known as MRFs, and actually one of them is down the street in Pembroke Pines. And we have 6 C&D recycling centers. So if you see, this is pretty much what we have here in Florida, and this is what we use to not only service our existing municipal customers, but to use as backup for when it's needed. So we have many resources right at our fingertips here in Florida. Next, please. Thank you. So you see those big green trucks? That beautiful picture happens to be our yard here at Southern Sanitation. So Southwest Ranches is going to be serviced by the 3rd largest hauling district that WM has. We are a nationwide company, and the 3rd largest hauling district will be the one to service Southwest Ranches. So what does that mean? That means that right here in Broward County, where Southern Sanitation is located, we're located in Pompano Beach, we have over 300 employees. We have over 200 trucks at the ready, and that picture is actually a drone picture of our yard, and it's just a portion of the resources and assets that we have available to you right now. Next. I'm going to make eye contact with you. Something else that we'd like to brag about a little bit is that the trucks that will be going down your streets, going down your neighborhoods, are CNG trucks. That stands for compressed natural gas. So Waste Management's residential fleet of trucks and commercial fleet of trucks are CNG trucks. In fact, we have taken the lead in Broward County in this effort. We have what's called a CNG clean and green fueling facility at our Southern Sanitation site. And what that is we basically provide the fuel for our trucks, but we go a step beyond that. That's actually open to the public. So if anybody has a CNG vehicle that needs to fuel, they can go there. We even open it to our competitors. Certainly, it is a step in the right direction towards sustainability in Broward County and to making sure that we do not pollute our municipal partners and their streets. Yes, sir.
So the CNG that you're pumping into the vehicles is the waste gases coming off the facility?
Pardon me?
The CNG that you're using, is it the waste gases coming off of the dump itself?
No, sir, it is not. No,
Okay.
it's simply compressed natural gas.
see.
However, the Monarch Hill landfill does produce, it is a gas-to-energy facility, and it
Right.
does produce electricity for about 8,000 homes.
Got it. Thank you.
That's a good question, yes, but no, sir, it does not. Mhm. Okay, next. Something else that we're very proud of, Mayor and council members, is the fact that we have the safest group of drivers in the industry. And we can attest to that because in waste management, or rather WM, safety is a core value. It is not simply a priority because priorities can change, priorities can shift. This is a core value. We have the best trained drivers in the industry. Did you know that when you apply to work in waste management and we decide to go ahead and give you a shot, you have to have a CDL license, but then you have to go to our Fort Myers facility for 2 weeks. And that facility is where we train our drivers initially. So for 2 weeks in Fort Myers, they do classroom training and they do simulated training. They go on a simulated course that duplicates real-world scenarios for them to learn how to drive a garbage truck. Because the truck has technology that is very advanced, and it's certainly not something that you just can give to anybody with a CDL license. You need to know how to drive a garbage truck. This is a truck that's going to be on your streets next to your neighbors jogging or pushing a stroller or walking their dog. You need to know that the person who's going to be driving that truck knows exactly what he or she is doing, okay? We do comprehensive background checks. It is very, very thoroughly, these are thoroughly vetted individuals, thoroughly trained individuals, so much so that they're very desirable in the industry. And we have a problem in the industry because our drivers are poached often, and that's okay. We tend to take that as a sign of, it's a badge of honor, if you will, right? Even though we kind of roll our eyes sometimes, but, you know, absolutely. We value the safety training that we are bringing to your streets greatly. We are best in class in the industry. And of course, if any one of you are interested in knowing about what we do at our Fort Myers facility or even visiting our Fort Myers facility, that's certainly an option for you, okay? All right, next. Did you know that waste management is North America's largest residential recycler? Most people don't know that. In fact, last year alone, we recycled more than 10 million tons of material. It's a little bit of a misnomer because when I say we recycled, I mean we processed for recycling. So we take the material from our partners, we sort it, and we put it out to market as a commodity. So we don't turn it into something else, but for lack of better words, we call it recycling. So paper alone last year, it is estimated that the equivalent of paper that was recycled saved about 110 million mature trees. When you hear that recycling is going out the door, it's not working, or that the garbage companies really don't recycle, that's not true. In fact, we will be collecting your recycling, and we're going to be taking your recycling to our Rooter MRF, okay, our Rooter MRF, which is down the street in Pembroke Pines. Again, open to you for a tour if you'd like to see it. And we certainly value the fact that the material that you give us, we're going to try our best to make sure that it is clean and marketable so that it can be reused and repurposed. Yes,
Excuse
sir.
me, just
Yes, sir.
there is some doubt on recycling, so I'm glad that you covered those points. Is there going to be any additional like education? I've heard that from a number of our residents that, you know, they're not sure exactly what is recyclable, what's not recyclable. Is there anything that we can do to be a little bit more clear on what that is?
Yes, absolutely. There's always something more that can be done when it comes to messaging proper recycling. The brochure, the mailer that was sent out to the homes does have a little bit of do's and don'ts of recycling. So in Southwest Ranches and elsewhere, wherever you have what's called single stream recycling, which is where you put all the recycling together in one container, Mayor, we ask that recycling be loose, not bagged. Okay? You can keep it in bags in your home, but when you put it in your container, empty it out so it is loose. Because if it is in a plastic bag, it's contamination and it goes straight to the landfill. So don't do that. That's number one. So what can you recycle? Well, we try to teach our municipal partners a little bit of a mantra. When in doubt, you throw it out. When in doubt, throw it out. Because it's very simple. It's clean and dry paper and cardboard. Number one, clean and dry paper and cardboard. You've heard of pizza boxes, correct? Well, the controversy with pizza boxes is, well, they contain pizza. They had a big piece of pizza, with sausage and onions and cheese. And that cardboard is not something that can be reused. So you throw it away. But what else? You throw away plastic bottles. A rule of thumb is a plastic bottle with a narrow neck. Now, that's not a scientific term, okay? But that's easy for people to remember. If it has a narrow neck, such as a water bottle, a shampoo bottle, okay? A milk bottle, you recycle that, okay? Aluminum and steel and tin. For example, if you have a can of beans, if you have a can of soup, if you open up a can for your dog or your cat, rinse it out a little bit, make sure it doesn't have food, and put it in recycling. So if you stick to that, very simple. Anything else? Let me give you an example of things that you should not recycle. Hangers, wire hangers, electrical wiring, plastic patio furniture, plastic toys, things of that nature. Do not recycle that. Clean paper and cardboard, clean and dry paper and cardboard, aluminum and steel, okay, and plastic with a narrow neck.
What about glass?
Yes, you can also recycle glass. Now, glass is interesting because there's only one facility in Florida that accepts glass right now. So what we do is we take the glass and we send it to that facility. Whatever that facility does not accept, then we grind it down and we use it for other purposes. For example, we use it to fill roads that we use in our different locations. We can sell it to somebody for sandblasting, or it may end up in the landfill. But glass is okay because glass is silica. It just breaks down. It's
Right.
not dangerous for the environment.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, I'm sorry, to answer your original question, yes, I'm going to be trying to get the message out as much as I can in Southwest Ranches.
Good.
Okay, next. Thank you. Okay, so how is WM preparing to service you here in Southwest Ranches? What is it that we've done thus far to get this transition going? Okay? All right, so we are, first and foremost, committed to a stress-free transition. We want to be ready to service your residents on day one. We have been communicating regularly with your staff. We have certainly had several meetings. We've made sure to comply with the operations plan that we presented first. I don't know if you recall, but we had routes already designed when we first submitted our package. So those routes have been finalized and executed by our wonderful team here. We need to know our customers. We need to have data integrity. So that's something that we've worked with, especially Russell and Rod and Susan, to make sure that we know the people that we're going to service, not just the residents, but the commercial entities as well. Contract compliance, of course, we need to make sure that we're keeping it to the letter of the contract. Customer experience. We are trying to certainly ensure that even before we start, the experience is a positive one for your customers. We've already reached out to your commercial businesses to set them up. We've introduced them to our customer service digitalization for the commercial customers, where they can download an app on their phone and they can see everything there is to know about their service, about when their containers were serviced, if they want to increase the service or decrease the service, et cetera. Those are something that is going to help the customer, especially the commercial customer. And public outreach, what I'm doing today, the boots on the ground, right? I actually am going to be at the HOA meeting next week, which is going to take place here at Town Hall. And I've reached out to all of your HOAs to let them know that I am available, and I've gotten a positive response, and I intend to visit them as well and make sure to answer their questions. Okay? Next. And already, as you know, this week we started cart delivery. So those are some pictures that we took this week. That is a 96-gallon cart that we've been dropping off for each of the residents here in Southwest Ranches. It has a tag on it that explains what it is. And to please not to use it until October 1st. Please continue to use your existing container until then. And that's actually a picture from our warehouse. So that's just a small sample of all the carts that have come in for Southwest Ranches. And they're ready to go. Certainly the vendor, as you can see in the bottom picture, the vendor is working diligently to drop them off, okay? Already, as of this morning, there is a portal that I've shared with the town where you can see the progress of who has received a cart and who has not, and how many have we delivered. As of this morning, we've had about 40% delivered, okay? So we're doing fine, well in advance of the October 1st deadline.
Does Andy have access to the portal?
Yes, yes he does.
Can you provide to us, or? I won't hack it. Okay.
Absolutely, Councilman. Yes, if anybody, in fact, I'll be happy to give access to each of the council members.
Great.
How about that?
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're going to be getting an invitation email, and just follow the instructions, and you'll have access to the portal.
Perfect.
Yes, sir. You got it. So yesterday, we actually had a field day here in Southwest Ranches. And I love this picture. This picture was taken back in May when we were preparing our submission to the town. And it's just so beautiful, so peaceful. So I figured it was very apropos for field day, right? Even though what we were doing yesterday was not peaceful. We had about a dozen route managers and operations supervisors in Southwest Ranches. And they were basically conducting a drive-through through the different streets to determine which areas may require our attention. So they've already identified some aspects that we've notified the town staff. These may be of concern, or we're keeping an eye on this. For example, low-hanging power lines and tree branches. That might not seem like a big deal, but certainly when you have a big giant truck with an arm that goes out, you don't want it to get stuck on a power line, or you don't want it to knock down a tree. So we need to make sure that we know where we need to pay a little bit more attention. We're also looking at maneuvering through narrow roads. So what's the problem with that? Well, we need to see, or at least we try to avoid backing out our trucks. Okay, we try to avoid scenarios where we have to back out. But we have identified certain narrow roads that we're just going to have to come in and come out, and I'm sure that the district manager could probably tell you more about how we maneuver on those roads. And also access to commercial enclosures, because not all enclosures are created equally. Some can be blocked, some can be difficult to access. So we've done all of that yesterday. So tomorrow, what are we doing tomorrow? Actually, not tomorrow, next week, right, guys? I'm sorry, not tomorrow. Next week, we're going to be doing a pre-run. So what is a pre-run? Well, during the week of September 26th, we're actually going to go back into the streets of Southwest Ranches, and we're going to do a pre-run, or a dry run, if you want to call it, of familiarizing our drivers and our route managers with the streets again. We try to, again, minimize backing out, and we try to figure out which streets are best to loop and which looping practices to be able to properly navigate the routes. And again, of course, avoid hazards. Also, determine the best access points for those commercial enclosures that I mentioned. So I've been talking a lot, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to Southwest Ranches for this incredible opportunity. We are so excited. I think the word is we're pumped, right? To get out there and pick up your garbage. Yes, we get excited about the idea of collecting your garbage. We'll be ready to go. And I am available now and throughout the entire term of this contract. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
And thank you all for coming out. We really appreciate the service that we know you're going to provide, so thank you.
I have a
Yeah,
question
go ahead.
for Ms. Herrera.
Yes.
This just came up, and I'm sure you may have been asked this before. We used waste management 10 years ago.
Something like
A whole bunch of people still have the 65-gallon green carts. I noticed that just driving around the neighborhood, and I was like, wow. What happens if they continue to use them? Will that be accepted by your cart?
You mean the 65-gallon garbage carts?
Yeah.
Were those serviced by ASL? Would you come up?
I have a waste.
Oh, hold on, no, you have to come up
Microphone.
here and speak in the and then you have to identify yourself.
Hello, Justin Warnemont, Senior Fleet Manager for WM. Yes, it's the same cart essentially. This is just newer and
It's
a little
the
bigger.
65 one, but they're all like 8 to 10 years old.
Right.
But they're everywhere.
Right.
in
So
town.
it can be picked up by the same truck. The short answer is yes. We'll pick it up if they put it out. We're giving them all a new one. So if they want to throw away their old one from 10 years ago and use the fresh new one, go for it. If they really want to use that one from 10 years ago, it's the same truck picking up the can. So
Well,
yes, we
what
can
I'm
use that.
thinking is that 2 are going to come out.
Well,
You know, is that okay? I guess, is that my question?
if two cans come out,
I know. That's
they're
my
allowed.
question.
Yes, sir? Sure.
Councilmember, thank you. So if they have the one that we dropped off, and then they have another one,
Correct.
that is an additional cart, a service for which they will need to pay. Correct.
Okay, how do you determine that?
How do we determine that? We have a listing of everyone in the town who has more than one cart.
Okay.
And certainly if the home or the residence that has 2, 3, 4 carts, if we don't have them on the list, we'll certainly work with the town to ensure that it's not an error, and we'll go that way.
Yeah, I'm just alerting you to something because I saw literally hundreds of carts traveling around during the day on
That's good to
garbage
know.
days
Thank you, sir.
throughout the town. So
Yeah,
it's a problem you need to address now, you know.
We appreciate that. Thank you. We certainly encourage, Councilmember, the residents to use the new carts. These are the ones that are not only new, they're not only good because they're new, they're good because obviously they have the latest standards. They can withhold the pressures of the automated side loader. So certainly we encourage you to use that. We definitely will tell you that we cannot pick up carts that are purchased, say, at Lowe's or Home Depot because the automated arm will crush it.
Yeah, we understand that, but these have WM on them, and Southwest Ranch is on the other side, and, you know, so you're gonna encounter that.
Oh, I mean, again,
that
everyone
problem.
gets one cart, whether it's this one or the new one. Of course, it's up to the resident, but it's one service per home, obviously, and anything additional to that, the resident would have to contact the town to make sure that they get the additional service.
Okay, just gonna go on the record, you've been warned.
Well, so let's talk that through for a second.
Thank you, sir.
Because if your driver does pull up to a house that has a new one and an old one, and the people are just thinking, all right, I can put out two, I have the old one, what will the driver do? Just empty one and leave the other one alone, or leave them a note, or how does that work?
We would empty one and leave the other one alone. However, if you'd like to respond, Justin or Jean? Yeah. We would empty one and leave the other one alone. And then the
Okay.
person would say, hey, why didn't you pick up my garbage? And certainly they would call us and alert us, and we would
Somebody
make
would
sure that.
explain.
Yeah, we would make sure to explain to the resident, whether it's us or the town, that, you know, this is the practice that is in place now.
Great.
You answered beautifully. That was great.
Here,
You have a question? Glad for that.
here you go.
Keith has a question.
I speak too much on behalf of Justin.
Hi, Barbara. I'm going to just jump in because I have a couple of real minor questions. First, you know, you all have been great to work with, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The council doesn't know a lot what happens behind the scenes, but even getting the carts out there in time was a major process, so thank you for all your assistance in pushing that. Your team has been great to work with. Some of us who have been here a while also have waste management recycling carts. I think I have two still at my house from prior service. That, though, we can put out unlimited amount of recycling carts, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I
Yeah,
just
there
want
is
to
no
clarify
additional
that.
charge for recycling. That's correct.
The second thing, and this is just a note, the town has a very vibrant Hispanic population, probably about 35%. I would just ask that your notice labels, if you could please put in both Spanish and English, because the comments that I've received were, you know, it would be really helpful if it was in dual language.
Noted. Thank you very much, Mr. City Attorney. Obviously, moving forward, any other labels that we may leave and any other materials will be in both English and Spanish. I do want you to know that we do have a Spanish version of the brochure that is now posted online. However, but thank you, you're talking about the cart labels, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the cart rate labels, you know, the eastern portion of the town, I think you've covered most of it already. And people are asking, you know, could this be in two languages so that everyone knows what to do?
Noted, absolutely. Thank you.
Mayor, may I ask a question or just clarify a point? Something that came about in our discussions with Waste Management was that the vehicles themselves are equipped to know, the drivers can actually determine the level of service that each residence has paid for. So to address the question that Vice Mayor Jablonski addressed or raised, if someone were to try to put out additional carts, the driver does know and has a way of knowing how many that they've
Okay.
contracted for.
Okay, good.
Mr.
Mayor, I have a question, Russell.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to ask real quick. We have a lot of one-way streets in town, especially here in Green Meadows, down towards the end, towards Sheridan Street. And some of those neighbors were complaining that when the truck comes down their street, the in-house they back up into their driveway, and some of their driveways have been cracked. Is there some way that they could handle that without having to pull into some individual home's driveway?
Good question.
Mr. Mayor, may we
Yeah.
respond? Okay, so the first question we're going to respond to is just clarifying a little bit of what the driver sees on his or her tablet.
Okay.
And also, we were going to address how we back out of narrow roads. So
Perfect.
I'm going to leave that up to Justin.
Sure. So the first question about how does the driver know if it's one or two? He has a tablet in his truck. It's about that big, and it sits in the center of the truck, and it tells him all the residents that he's going to that day. It tells him the whole route. That's for all lines of business, for roll-off, front load, and for residential. And for those residents that have the extra card or multiple extra cards, it'll show up on his tablet that at whichever address, pick up 4 instead of
Gotcha.
1. So he'll know those things. And if we run across those residents that are putting out an extra cart when they haven't paid for it or set up with the town, then we'll go back, contact the town staff, and we'll set it up with that resident, especially if it's a consistent. We're having the same driver out here, so if it's consistent, we'll be able to spot those pretty easily. And then part of our field day, if we're talking about one-way streets and back downs, is what we call them, part of our field day was identifying all of those. And there's quite a few that you can't turn around at the end safely. We don't want our drivers on anybody's driveway. Those driveways aren't meant for the weight of vehicle that we have. So we don't want our drivers backing up in anybody's driveway to turn around. So our intention is to back down all of those roads. There may be a one-off where something crazy happens and we have to do some maneuvering, but our intention is to back down all those roads and then service our way out of them. So we would pull the carts to the one side of the road and pick them up as we go out.
Oh, okay. Good. Did you hear that, Jim?
Yes, sir. I
Good.
did.
Awesome. Good, thank you.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Is the recycling and the garbage the same truck?
It's the same style of truck, but it's 2 different trucks, 2 different drivers. So
Okay.
the trucks will look identical, but if you watch, it'll be 2 different drivers, and then like you pick up garbage and recycle same day. So you'll see 2 trucks coming down the street.
Great. Yeah, go ahead.
So in the past, with the past haulers that we've used, we've had an issue that hasn't seemed to have gone away over the years. You know, people put their garbage pails next to their house, they fill up with 50 gallons of water, the garbage goes in on top, it goes out to the curb, and that gets dumped in the truck, and after a few of those, there's a stream of ooze, I'll just call it. I don't know what it is, I don't even want to know.
Called
I'm sure you
garbage
guys could
juice?
explain it. Sorry?
Yeah.
Garbage juice. That's the
Garbage,
scientific
technical term, thank you. I learned something interesting tonight. Yeah, so, and that garbage juice, after it's sat in the sun for 2 or 3 days, the street reeks and everything else. The vendors we've used in the past, all our guys are supposed to deal with that. They've got a kit, they've got this, they've got that. Well, that sounds great, but it didn't ever seem to happen. I have trails of garbage juice on my street that are probably 10 years old. You know, the street's stained with them, and it really stinks badly, and that's the only reason I'm bringing it up.
I know that is a big problem, and leaking trucks is it's a gross problem too. We're used to the garbage smell, but a resident's
Right.
not. If you see any of those things, please report it. And our drivers are trained to spot those things.
So they're accountable for that then,
Yes.
by you?
Yes.
And if it does happen, that should be an anomaly.
Right. So all of our trucks are maintained. That's actually my position as senior fleet manager, to maintain the trucks and keep them from leaking. If anything leaks, drivers need to stop right away, bring it back to our shop. If any of you would like to tour our shop and see what we do on a day and night basis, you're welcome to come by and see our maintenance routine. And then if you see anything like that, that maybe a driver missed, please report it, and we'll get the street cleaned, number one, and get the truck fixed, most importantly, so we don't leak
Great.
anywhere else.
Thank you very much.
Along those same lines, we have currently like a link that's on our website where any incident that occurs, our residents can just click on that. It takes them right to the vendor, and they can fill out a kind of an incident that would happen. So it's real simple. They don't have to ask, well, what's the phone number, or talk to anybody. They can just, do it from their phone or wherever. Yeah, are we going to have something similar to that on our website? Have we discussed that?
We certainly can perform, that can certainly be provided, but we have to get the interface from Waste Management. So if you can provide something along those lines, I don't know if you have a track system like that to track complaints for residents. I'm not sure how you do that.
Mr. Muniz, I think I know what you're talking about. I believe that the system that your residents are using is called the Track Easy system?
Correct.
Correct. So we do not use a Track Easy system because it does not interface with our system. So in our discussions with staff, we've asked that the email and the number, of course, for any kind of waste management service, whether it's an issue with the cart or an issue if they feel that they weren't serviced that day, et cetera, to send it there. Because it goes straight into our system, which then generates a ticket so that it can quickly be resolved and tracked. And on a monthly basis at minimum, we're going to be providing a report to the town in terms of that. So we'll be happy to explore other options, Mr. Muniz.
We can certainly use the one that you provided. I didn't know if that was a
Sure.
catch-all, so we can just put that on our current site, effective October 1st, obviously.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so that's basically an email, is that?
It would be an email, so there's different avenues for residents to use. They can either call, they can send an email, or they can go on our website, which is www.wm.com. That's a lot of W's. Right?
Yeah,
And then at the bottom right-hand corner of our website, there's a chat feature. And they can go on the chat feature, they can basically, identify themselves and say, I want to talk to a live person on the chat. They say, my garbage, the garbage man came, or he came down my street and he forgot to get me, right? No
right,
problem.
right.
And then they'll be talking to a live person on the chat, okay?
Okay.
During regular
Right.
business hours, of course. And
Right.
then there will be a ticket generated in our system, which then alerts the route manager and alerts the team here that Mrs. Smith on 123 Main Street has an issue that needs to be resolved.
Okay,
And then, as per the contract, we have a certain amount of time to resolve it. Yeah.
good.
Can I just
Yeah,
comment on
yeah, go ahead.
Russell's requirement? Russell, on our WordPress site, it's very easy to set up a form that somebody can fill out, and when they save the form, it'll pop an email directly to whatever email address you set up, so they'll get it automatically. Or if there is a live chat that they have, usually you can expose that on our website as well on the solid waste page, so to
Right.
speak. So there's a number of options if you want to talk about them tomorrow or sometime in
Yeah.
the near future.
We just want to make sure we
Work on
have
them.
something that's
Absolutely.
very simple,
Simple, easy to
straightforward,
use.
right?
Simple, yeah.
You know.
That's
right
why we thought the
near front.
email was the easiest, but again, we haven't put it on
Yeah.
there yet because we were anticipating October 1st, obviously.
Okay.
We'll be happy to discuss it with you and your senators.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Got another question? if
Yeah, go ahead,
possible.
sure.
So something occurred earlier this week where one of our residents it may have either misinterpreted or gotten the wrong information, something about the price of a cart if they wanted to buy one. And, the information that they put out, and this is all, of course, tracked on Facebook, but it seems if they got it wrong from Waste Management, somebody wasn't properly trained on our contract terms. I don't know if you have a call center that your team can use a knowledge base to look up the SWR terms, or how you work that to make sure that our residents are given accurate information. Because if they don't get accurate information, first it goes to Facebook, then we get the calls, and we go directly in that direction to Andy.
Yes,
So
and then
I'd
I
love
get
to
the-
save all those steps and
Yes.
just make sure that your team understands exactly what the questions are, or has the right answers for the questions that are going to come in from our residents.
That's an excellent point, Councilman. So this is what we do. Enterprise-wide, every customer service representative has access to what we call green pages. So green pages is the system that we use that is specific to each municipality. So Southwest Ranches, and I can provide a copy of the green page information for your reference, sir, and certainly you can see that. The green pages has the routes, the dates of service, the specifics in terms of rates, et cetera, okay? Whatever you can, I'm trying to think of other things, but basically what is specific to Southwest Ranches and Southwest Ranches service. So when somebody calls, they're going to get a customer service representative who's going to pull up green pages and they'll be able to see. So let's say Mrs. Smith calls, I want to know when my bulk days are. Okay, we'll figure it out, we'll help her out. However, this is the caveat. Because we haven't started yet, part of our transition is training our customer service representatives on the green pages for Southwest Ranches. So just yesterday, I had a conversation with one of our customer service supervisors to see where we are with that. So they have been meeting regularly. They've in the process of training the reps, the representatives, in terms of what goes and what doesn't go with Southwest Ranches. Usually we're ready to go by the start date. But if somebody were to call right now and they were to get maybe not so clear information, sir, I would be happy to assist that person. And we're just talking about one more week. So bear
So
with
if
us.
somebody were to call in tomorrow and go to your green pages, they would probably see that the second pail is half price or free for obtaining the pail. And then in a year from now, when that deal is no longer available, your folks will update based on the contract terms to say, to acquire a pail is $100, and then it's $300.12 on an
That's
annual
right. The green
basis.
pages are updated, sir. You're absolutely
Okay,
correct.
perfect.
Only so long as if there are any changes with the contract,
Right,
obviously.
of course.
We don't just change the terms.
Good.
But yeah, whatever, if there is a change to the terms of the contract, they are updated accordingly.
Excellent, thank
Sir.
you.
And
That's very
I
helpful.
will provide a copy to your staff, to the manager, and to the clerk, and certainly they can pass it on to council members.
That'd be great, Russell, because I can answer the questions just like a help desk person. So I'm getting them.
And again, I cannot stress enough, I am available, sir. Should you receive a question that's a bit of a coming out of left field from a resident, just call me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good. Any other questions from the council? If you'll indulge us just for a minute, any questions from the residents? Yeah, Newell. Newell, please come on up. Can you please come on up, just so we folks on YouTube and all can hear you?
Bill Hollingsworth. I'm one of the old people that have one of the old green cans, one of the bigger ones, actually. If I fill in the first can and I have extra, say I have a party or something, and I fill the second one, but I put only one can out, but it's not the new can, but the old can, will you pick that up? Okay.
I simply want to stress, when you are referring to the old can, make sure it's the old waste management can.
Right.
Because that's the one that can be picked up by the truck and not demolished
Right.
into a million pieces. And the gentleman brings up a good point. This is actually a question that has been asked of me of staff. What do I, if I'm a resident and I have a party, what do I do? What do I do? I'm going to have 100 people at my house. My daughter's getting married, and, I'm going to have a lot of garbage. Just arrange for a couple extra pickups, or an extra pickup, which is provided for in the contract. That's a service that we would offer. It's not a problem, but just we ask that you arrange it with us in plenty of time. Don't do it the day before.
Right.
But we can certainly arrange for that, so don't worry. So some folks say, oh, this is not going to be enough. One can is enough. 96 gallons is usually enough. We just ask, try it out. But if not, if you need more service for just one time or two, we can arrange that.
Awesome. Awesome. Very good. Any other resident questions? Seeing none, I think we're good. Barbara, thanks so much for coming out. Team, really appreciate you coming out as well. Thank you.
I just want to point out, Mayor, one more thing,
Yeah,
that these fine gentlemen have been at the yard since, 3 o'clock in the morning?
long day.
One last thing, sir. I extend an invitation to the council, to you, Mayor, to the Vice Mayor, to the council, and to staff, to come and see us during our launch, to come and see us during our safety huddle, to come see how we operate, and come visit our recycling facility, okay? So certainly when we start service, I'll go ahead and work with the clerk to extend those services, those opportunities to you.
Great.
And we can't wait to show off a little bit more.
Awesome.
Thank
Awesome.
you, everyone.
Thank you and welcome.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
It's not often people clap for the garbage man. Yeah.
All
right.
We'll see why he winked at Gary when he answered the question.
All right, awesome. All right. Public, she's not here yet. Okay, so public comment. Do we have any public comment this evening?
It's still amazing. We have one Gloria Murphy. Gloria? She actually got thrown out.
Good evening, Gloria.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm back.
Awesome.
I only have 3 minutes, so I wrote everything down so I could get it all in, okay? I'm Gloria Murphy. I live on 164th Terrace. I have a quick update on the drainage project on 164th. It's still not over. Workers brought out items to redo the drain covers several weeks ago. Nothing's happening. I suppose they're going to tear up residents' yards again if they do return. Besides, again, they brought a big piece of equipment to dig holes or whatever this thing does. It's sitting there because it doesn't operate. At first, a tire came off the rim. They got that fixed. Then they couldn't get it started. And it's sitting there. Again, last year, we had one sit in our front yard for over 3 months. It was actually decorated for Christmas. But, I mean, this company is like killing us over there. Is this ever going to be over? But I do have good news. Our torn up road from their trucks and whatever's been going on, plus it's old, the potholes made it look like a war zone. The road workers did come out to fill our potholes. I have bad news. They advised my husband they couldn't repair them properly because the road was too badly damaged. They used blow torches for whatever good that did to help seal the tar. I know there's a list of roads to be repaired. I'm praying that 164th Terrace is one of those first roads because we've had enough issues to contend with the drainage as well as the potholes. I do have some final comments on speeding again. I had suggested that the newsletter issue the names of speeders so that people would know. But I realize that that's not a good thing. You can't do that. That's not legal. But what if they were to post every month just the number of tickets given out for speeders? It might make us feel like something is being done, you know? And I did have one last idea on that. Would it be possible to create a flyer that we could hang on people's mailboxes, telling them about our rural streets, no sidewalks? That's why we moved out here. And please watch your speed. Is that possible to do? I mean, I would be glad to do that and hang it on mailboxes. Just maybe it might remind people that there are mothers walking babies in carts. My husband's been run off the road when he's out walking. It's just these speeders have no respect for anyone. Anyways, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks
Gloria.
for listening.
Thank you for coming out.
Mayor, we actually have one late entry. Debbie Green, who's the final speaker.
Debbie Green, 5201, Southwest 199. I know I mentioned it during the mayor's call on Wednesday, and when I brought up the issue of the traffic out west on Griffin Road, I kind of got a consensus of the other people on the call that they also were noticing that there's a big issue. When you try to leave in the morning to get to work, if you leave anywhere between 7:25, if you make it out by 7:15, you're kind of okay. But if you leave anywhere after that, between 7:20 and 7:35, 7:40, and I'm sure it goes on. This is my own personal experience. I mean, there's times where it's backed up from Bonaventure all the way to 199. Then once you pass that, then at Weston or Dykes Road, you can sit there sometimes 6-7 cycles of a light.
Yep.
Like you're sitting there. And I know that the mayor has asked like months ago for the staff to look back at whatever traffic study was done, because that traffic study that was done more recently is absolutely, maybe they did it during spring break. I don't know. But I think they really need to go back and take a look at that, because really right now what I'm doing is I'm heading west to US 27 to go, going like miles out of my way to save about 30 minutes in travel time getting to work between trying to go that way or just going west to US 27 to 75 all the way out and connecting to 595. So just appreciate if we can look at that traffic and with those new communities that are going out there off of whatever that is by Bonaventure, the Akai Estates. It's just going to add some more, and then the ones that are right there off of Dykes. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Debbie. Any other public comment? Oh, I don't know.
That
No,
the traffic heading north and south at Weston Road, that always, every light, it empties everybody out.
Yeah.
So I think there's something with the timing of those lights.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Debbie. So after the mayor's call the other evening, I did get with Andy, and he has since contacted Emily, and we're getting the wheels in motion for Broward County to go ahead and do another study. So it's in process, but thanks for the reminder, and thanks for the reminder on the call, too. Appreciate that. All right. I think we're good. Board reports. Do we have any board reports this evening? Seeing none. Council member comments. We'd like to.
I'll take off.
Awesome.
Real quick.
All right.
Just a few items. This is all upcoming next month. First off, thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate it. And those out there in YouTube land, how many we got, Deborah?
8.
1, okay. It's probably my wife, but anyway.
8. We have actually
8, sorry. Okay, just to let everybody know, the Broward County property appraiser is going to be here on the 4th. It's a Tuesday from 10 to 12. And then the Broward County Flowmobile will be here on the 26th of October on a Thursday. Get with Deborah if you need to use their services. Just a reminder, I know we just went through a big presentation that was really good. Waste management starts on the 1st of October, which is a week from Saturday, not this Saturday.
Right.
Everybody's thinking. Rolling Oaks today got their cans, and in the middle of a downpour, it was kind of fun. But anyway, they're very nice, and they look like they're huge.
They are huge.
They are huge. The council is meeting on the 13th of October and the 27th of October. Just FYI. And the last thing I want to close with is Rolling Oaks is having its annual Halloween festivities on the 29th, Saturday night. It's a lot of fun for everybody to come out. We form around the semicircle in front of the barn. We have a haunted barn going on behind us. And then everybody, all the ladies have set up carts, and they set up little Halloween things, and everybody has usually about 500 pounds of candy. And we give it to all the kids, and the kids go all the way around. And everybody enjoys it because, you know, and this is for townwide. And we urge everybody from other sections of the town to come on out, back your car in, put out a cart table, enjoy the fun, meet your neighbors, you know, that kind of thing. So, and that's the 29th of October. And it usually starts as soon as the sun starts going down. So whatever that is, I think that's before daylight savings.
It is.
Yeah. So it'll probably be around 6, 7 o'clock, somewhere there. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Great. Thanks for those reminders, and appreciate it. Jim, do you have any comments for us this evening?
Yes, Mayor, just give me a minute or two, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll get my paper out.
All right. We'll move on, and I'll get back to you. All right, David.
4 items. Number 1, for the residents that are here, thank you for coming out. If you see this little display over here, this is from the Rural Arts and Design Advisory Board, submitted photos. They have made the vote on which photos, it's a secret, which photos will be on the next calendar. So those have been decided from those photographs, and we'll find out when the calendar is put together. Also, the Rural Arts and Design Advisory Board is working on the additional panels for the wall at Founders Park. If you're taking a drive from Griffin going east, you'll see the Founders Park just before the CVS. You'll see 6 panels have been decorated. Great, beautiful artwork from Laura. And with the contribution from the Sunshine Ranches Homeowners Association of $1,200, that will create additional monies available for Laura to supplement the wall further down. We think it would just go further down. Now, the other 3 issues, the LPRs, the groom's quarters, and an issue I want to talk about, Broward County Animal Control. LPRs, according to a report that I had requested, we are supposed to have 13 poles for these license plate reader cameras, and they should be installed by the end of the month. And, I'm sorry? End of, the whole program's going to be ready to go by the end of October. But the poles will be installed by the end of the month, this month. And then the whole program, everything will should be fully functional if everything goes according to plan, by the end of October. And that's something that's going to bring us a lot more safety. I wrote about this in my column where I did an analysis of the burglaries, vehicle burglaries in the town, and the burglaries in Sunshine Ranches were more than the rest of the town combined. And it was shocking. When I kind of suspected it when I did the math, but I did the math and I says, it's there, and it's been in the news. It's a big problem. And one thing I did notice, not one single of the vehicles that were broken into was broken into with force. The vehicles had a key fob left in it or left unlocked. And we can't reiterate enough that lock your car, a gun was left in a vehicle and stolen. This is just, please take this stuff in. People they had that incentive to come into our town. Davie Police gave a report of a vehicle driving in Sunshine Ranches on, I think it was Sunset Lane, 3:40 in the morning. The officer drove up went dark, drove up on the car, got a tag. The tag was listed as a residence in Hialeah, 3:40 in the morning in Sunshine Ranches. The vehicle went south on Hancock, then went back west on Mustang, and back north on Volunteer, and then was pulled over for, I guess, a ID check. But the person said they were trying to show where they had lived in the past. Yeah, I giggle too. But 3:40 in the morning, somebody from Hialeah in our town, it just raises the eyebrows. Groom's quarters. That came out that there was a report that the groom's quarters language from the code was removed. Turns out it wasn't. What had happened, there was a miscommunication with an ordinance that was sent to Municode. And the miscommunication caused that to be removed from Municode while it was still an ordinance. So it's going to be, we're working on getting that reenacted on Municode, but it is still an active ordinance in the town. A groom's quarters is where somebody takes care of the horses is allowed a residence on the property. So that's something I was working on with that. Lastly, there was a news story that came out, Channel 7, a couple days ago, September 20th to be accurate. Had to do with the Broward County Animal Control. And it turns out that just recently they had changed their policies at Broward County Animal Control that requires local police officers, like in our town, Davie Police, to hold stray animals for 72 hours. And yeah, 72 hours. And this is something that was dictated by a bureaucrat at Broward County Animal Control, not the Broward County Commission. Somebody from Broward County Animal Control said 72 hours local police officers have to hold the animals. And this is a mandate putting on our town and every other municipality in the town. In Hallandale had a big problem with a dangerous dog. And Broward County Animal Control refused to come out and get the animal. And I passed out an article to all the council members, and like I said, this is what I called as an unfunded mandate from a Broward County bureaucrat. I learned that Davie Police just has a kennel outside, and they don't have the capacity to hold a dog that's stray, and it's 100 degrees heat out there. It's inhumane. Now, there was a part of this article that I found. It didn't print out. I guess it was a printing error. And it was a really big quote that said, "One Broward County City has now passed a resolution calling for the county commission to retract this policy. I think this is something that we need to explore because we are an animal-loving municipality. Yes,
Councilmember Kaczynski, now that you brought that up, Hallandale Beach sent me that resolution, literally like yesterday, and they asked if you all would consider adopting the same thing. I was going to bring it up in legal
I'm
comment.
interested.
So if you're interested, I'll put it on the next agenda.
I'm interested. That's something I'd like to put on the agenda. This is just appalling for somebody that's supposed to be caring for the animals, supposed to rescue the animals, provide a safe place to be, and not exposed to excessive heat. But then they tell the police officers, you have to do it. And our law enforcement, we didn't even contemplate that with our contract with Davie Police. So it's just unfair to the municipality. So that's why we pay our tax dollars to Broward County. That wraps up my comments. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, David. Jim, are you ready? Are you prepared?
Yes, sir, I am.
Great.
Can
Go
you hear
ahead.
me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, okay. I have a note here from the captain of the Davie Police Department, Captain Levine, and it reads, your most recent Southwest traffic enforcement, that's the enforcement that was created from the Safety and Traffic Committee, was completed on 8/31/22. During that operation, officers conducted 33 hours of traffic enforcement and issued 86 citations in town, as provided in the agreement. The enforcement areas were varied each day of the operation. Since 9/23/22, we have an officer, Jose Nunez, completed the speed measurement course and is now certified in radar and laser for traffic enforcement. Presently, all 13 Southwest Ranches officers have the state-required laser and radar certificate. That's the laser guns that we bought. Overall, this is the neat one, overall citations in Southwest Ranches have increased over 100% from 2021. I think that's a tremendous amount of tickets that are being written. I get the monthly reports as the rest of the council do, and I'd be happy to show them to Ms. Murphy if she's still there, of the number of citations and where they were issued. But I've noticed here recently when those reports come out that there are a lot more citations being written. So I think the investment that we made with the radar guns and the laser guns and the enforcement special detail is really paying off in Southwest Ranches.
That's a
And then
great.
lastly,
Yeah, go ahead.
the last Monday of the month, the 26th, will be our Zoom meeting for the group that we're putting together for Green Meadows, the association. We had 30 people attend the Zoom meeting last time, looking for more this time. So if you're interested, give me a shout, and I'll hook you up on the email list. So it's a blind copy list, and you'll get the date and time for the Zoom meeting. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jim. And Gloria is here, and she's nodding her head yes. So, so we're good. Thank you. But thanks for that report. That's great news. Yeah, Bob.
Thank you, sir.
Just a couple of things real quick. Spend a lot of time outdoors since I'm working from home these days. It's a little bit of an opportunity at lunchtime to take a walk around outside. I'm always... It's off. I'm sorry. Let me start over. So since I've been working from home, I get to spend a little more time out around the house in the mornings before I start work. Lunchtime, I'll take a walk around. You just can't sit and look at a computer all day. And then, of course, after work and in the evenings. And you'd be surprised how often you see Davie PD come down the road, just as their normal patrol. They do a great job in our town. And what happens is I always wave, and I guess after me waving so much, some of them pull over and say hello. And for the most part, since I've been on the council, everybody says hello and stops for a minute or so, which is great. I mean, I know pretty much all of our police. Something occurred to me last weekend. Believe it or not, at about 11 o'clock at night, I was out walking the dog, and here comes one of the officers down the road. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to do a ride along with them, just to get out and see what they do, kind of like cops used to be on TV or live PD. You know, you get to ride along with them and understand a day in the life of. I asked Andy to look into it. I talked to Detective Hobalis as well, and it's a possibility how we go about selecting residents if there's a demand for it. But Andy's going to work with Davie PD Chief to see if we can put a program together. I'd love to go. I mean, I get the police reports every week. They get called on some interesting calls. A lot of people think they don't do anything in our town. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. That we have more than our share of calls for a variety of different things. You know, it also depends on the time of day. So I don't know a good way to put this together. I've got a whole bunch of ideas to talk to Andy about it with, but I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be a great opportunity for our folks to understand that, yes, they are enforcing speeding and they are enforcing, you know, they're also patrolling. We have police officers in our community that catch the crooks quite a bit. I mean, they don't all get away with it as sometimes people would think. So more on that later, because this isn't something that we can just turn on next week. We've got to figure it out, but I think it would be an interesting thing to do and a great way for our community to interact with the Davie Police in a different way than we haven't so far. It's a lot different when you ride along with them and just say hello, you know, when they're pulled over or when they stop by or here at Town Hall. So more on that as that develops. Just one quick reminder that I might be stealing the mayor's thunder. The farmers market starts this Saturday. It's from 10 to 3. All right. Enough on that.
You were good. I was watching you.
All right. Enough
I
thunder
withheld.
stolen.
I withheld.
I'll see you there if you come on out. And while I'm getting the eye from the mayor, let me just wish everybody who's celebrating a happy Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Always, you know, no such thing as bad advertising, so I'll take the even extra.
Well, our favorite bird has come in.
Oh, yeah.
Robin.
Yeah, I know. Yep. A couple of things. One is I was fortunate. I did the CPA program with Davie Police a number of years ago, and part of that program is to do a ride-along. So that's another option if people want to do that. It was fascinating. We were just talking about it a little earlier. I saw everything. I mean, it was really amazing what all happened on one shift. You know, they went to the scene of a body. We went to a fire. We went to a SWAT team event. We went to a Baker Act. This was all on one shift.
And this is all in Davie, right?
This actually was in Davie. It wasn't in Southwest Ranches. They did give me a choice. Do you want to go in Southwest Ranches? I actually chose Davie because they said there would be a lot more going on the east side of town. So yeah, it was, yeah. But it is eye-opening to see all that. We went on a high-speed chase. I wasn't supposed to be in the car. I shouldn't probably be saying this on the record, but it was great. It was truly eye-opening to see what all they do on a shift. It's awesome.
Did you get to bring your gun?
Well, that's another part of the CPA program is there was another evening, not then, no, they didn't give me a gun, but there was another evening where we went to the range and they had all the guns laid out there and shot an AK-47 there in their gun range. So it was awesome, really, all the experience all around. Every night was a different event. It goes on for like 13 weeks, 12, 13 weeks, something like that. So, but encourage everybody to do that. It's a fantastic experience. And then I will wind up with, I'm super excited that the farmers market is kicking off again this weekend. Some things have been adjusted. I know we saw the feedback that the folks that put on the farmers market did an amazing analysis of what occurred last time, the good things and the things that could be improved, and gave us great feedback. And so it's going to be more of the same, but it's going to be even better because they're going to be doing some improvements on things, such as they're looking to get more fresh fruit and vegetable type vendors there because that was a big thing, and we didn't quite have enough of that. So they've looked at everything that was there, and they've made some tweaks to improve it. So I think it's going to be better than ever. But it's just amazing to be out there, to see other residents. It's great to go there. You go there to buy a few knickknacks and see what's around there, and you end up spending a couple hours talking to all the different neighbors and people you haven't seen for a while, especially after COVID and all that. So it's an amazing experience. It's a lot of fun and some great things to buy and see. So please come on out. It's from 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. Pretty much, there'll be a few Saturdays off, but pretty much between now and spring, every Saturday we'll be doing it. So, all right. And lastly, Jim, great to have you again on the phone. Get well soon. We're looking forward to seeing you back here on the dais very soon.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. All right. All right. So, Robin, thank you for coming this evening, and you've done some amazing things. The drainage project that you've secured for us, thank you for that. But all through the time you've been in Tallahassee, you've been a great advocate for us, and you've done a great job of doing some wonderful things for our town and our
You guys do an
community.
amazing job, and I
Thank
can't
you.
say enough about the farmer's market, and I like to pet the goats there. So if you have small kids and adults who like goats, definitely go. And thank you for talking about the ride-along, and I'm glad you did one. I recently did a ride-along with probation officers. I think it starts like at 10 o'clock at night. And I'm one of 3 people who have ever ridden along with the probation officers. And you have no idea what they do and how, they put their lives on the line for us. When you're going to knock on somebody's door at 11 o'clock at night to make sure they're in bed, or going to a field to find someone's on probation, they really are unsung heroes. So I'm glad that you're going to do something like that so people can appreciate our law enforcement. But that is not why I am here. I am here to announce that Southwest Ranches was awarded a grant from the Local Support Grants Program. So this is the first time this has ever been done. We need to thank Speaker Sprouse. The legislature had some extra money, and they put it out for all 120 of us and said, okay, do you want this money? So of course, I contacted Andy, and we worked it out. And so I am happy to say that you have received for Southwest Ranches Luray Road and Holity Trail, the drainage improvement, $150,000 to take care of that project. So,
Awesome.
let me just tell you, I cannot thank the committee enough. I can't thank Speaker Sprouse enough, because we all put in a ton of appropriations, and I was very excited. Not only did I receive that one that impacts all of us is the South Broward Drainage District. So this project is not very exciting, but it needs to be done. It's the rehabilitation of triple 96 metal drainage culverts. And so I had to learn about that, how to explain that. So we got $262,500 for that, and that'll extend the life another 100 years of the drainage, which South Broward Drainage District impacts all of us out here. So it's been an exciting year, and this year I received $4,999,394. And honestly, Southwest Ranches got the lion's share of all of that. So, but it's been a great year. But I'm excited because this has never happened before. Session's over, and you're going to have an opportunity to get this check. So you know that all I've done really since Tropical Storm Eta is focus on drainage, and now we have a storm out there. So just for everyone to know, the shovel hasn't hit the ground in all of these projects, and the 3 mobile stormwater pumps are supposed to be delivered to South Broward Drainage District this week. I haven't gotten the phone call yet, so I hope we at least have those. God forbid the storm comes. And so for people who are out there who don't know where the drainage projects are, we have one on Southwest 63rd Street and Southwest 185th Way, Southwest 54th Place, the extension at the Ivanhoe Canal, and we have the Green Meadows District Improvement along Southwest 164th Terrace, along with Countries Estates Drainage and Water Quality Improvement Project. That was in 2021. And in your neighboring town, who will not be named, they built $1 million, we got money for $1 million pump station, but that impacts all of us because we drain everything out to C11 and the Everglades and their seepage, so everything just comes back in, and all the lakes are connected. So now what'll happen is that will prevent the seepage. And so I sponsored a portion of that $1 million. So
Great.
they did a lot of really good stuff. So I look forward to seeing you guys all on Saturday. And I love this town. Thank you.
Robin,
Thank you,
where are they
Robin.
installing the pump?
What?
Where are they installing the pump?
The 3 mobile stores, they're mobile.
No, not the mobile, the one you bought for the city that should not be
The
named.
south, that is going to be, it's on the west side of the town. I'm trying to see if I have the address in here. And I don't have the address. It's
Okay.
west of the Everglades. It's right on the Everglades, right there.
We can talk
So,
about
but
that.
it's West Pines. I can get you the street address if you would
Thank
like.
you.
But they, all of us are connected through South
Right.
Broward Drainage District. So we all have to work together. This is all of us. And I hope those mobile pumps come, and I hope that storm doesn't come. So thank you all so much. I love
Great. Thank you,
working for
Robin.
you. It's an honor to represent all of you. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Robin.
Good night.
All right, Keith, legal comments? No.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mayor. Despite the city who shall not be named, opposition to our plat for the former CCA property, on Tuesday, the Broward County Commission denied their request to block us and approved the request to change it from prison to industrial, which I still find the irony that they objected
Yeah.
to that change.
Yeah.
Other than that, no further legal comments.
Great, thank you, Keith. Andy?
Yeah, just a few things. As you know, earlier tonight, we approved the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. I just want to thank you again on the record during the council meeting for the council's support, for Emil's leadership through the finance team and the department directors as part of that process. I can tell you that finance never sleeps. So as of tonight, you have a budget, and as of next week, the auditors will be back, and we'll start on the next process. So, yeah, they will be in to start on the fiscal year 21-22 audit. So they'll be here for 3 days next week, and now you got a budget. Now we look backwards and start cleaning up where we need to clean up with the auditors here. So the other thing, just while we're on finance, I left a copy for you all earlier on an announcement from the Florida League of Cities that Emil was appointed to serve on the Florida League of Cities Legislative Policy Committee, which is really quite an honor. And it just gives the town a voice and a much greater presence. So I just want to thank him for putting in additional time beyond what it takes to do the job here to represent the town and to be the voice of reason and get our message across. So thank you for that.
Congrats.
Yep. Thank you, Emil.
There was
Good
some
job.
conversation about vicious dogs before. Keith has been working on it. I have draft copies of the vicious dog ordinance, which I'm going to give to you all tonight so that you can take a look at it and provide some feedback if you have any of that. And the only other thing I wanted to say is Representative Bartleman was here and talked about the success that she's had in sponsoring some projects for us. And a lot of that came with working, I'll say the wind beneath her wings, working with her, is Nelson Diaz and Southern Strategies, who've done just an incredible job. We secured almost $1.6 million in state funding even before the most recent 150. So we've had a very good year. So I just wanted to tell you all on the record that our intention is to renew with Southern Strategies and see if we can keep that ball rolling and bring in some additional funds for next year.
Excellent.
And thank you, Mayor. I think it's all I have for tonight.
Great. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. All right. Item number 10.
This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving the Second Amendment to the agreement between the Town of Davie and the Town of Southwest Ranches for delivery of public safety services, including emergency medical, fire protection, fire and life safety, and police services, authorizing execution, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Andy, you want to just give a quick overview of this? This is kind of a one-year
sure.
temporary.
This is the public safety contract that we have with the Town of Davie for fire rescue and police services. That contract expires at the end of September. We started working with Davie on a new contract. We've hit, I'll say, a couple of little hurdles, nothing significant, but it's taken us a little bit longer to resolve that than we would have liked. So the intention here of this resolution will be a one-year extension of that existing contract. Davie's Town Council considered it and approved it last night. We're asking you to do the same. This doesn't mean we're going to sit back for a year. We'll continue, starting tomorrow, to work on a longer-term extension. So thank you, Mayor.
Good, thank you. All right. Any council comment on this item? Seeing none, is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none. Jim, are you good? Any comment, Jim?
Yes.
Okay.
No comment.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, please call the item.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hartman?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jablonski?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you. Item number 11.
This is the resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a purchase order with Craven Thompson and Associates in the amount of $64,400.00 for surveying and engineering services for the Florida Department of Environmental Protection funded Southwest 54th Place drainage improvements from Dykes Road to the Ivanhoe Canal, authorizing the town administrator to execute the purchase order and providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second on this item. Is there any discussion from the council? Seeing none, is there any discussion public discussion on the item? Seeing none,
If they would like.
please call the roll.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hartman?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jablonski?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you. Item number 12.
This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a purchase order with Craven Thompson and Associates in the amount of $33,900.00 for surveying services for the Florida Department of Environmental Protection funded Green Meadows drainage improvements, authorizing the town administrator to execute the purchase order and providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion from the council on this item?
No.
Seeing none, is there any public discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hartman?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jablonski?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you. Item number 13, please.
This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a purchase order with Kimley Horn and Associates in the amount of $68,205.00 for engineering services for the Florida Department of Environmental Protection funded Green Meadows Drainage Improvement Project, authorizing the town administrator to execute the purchase order and providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Approved.
Jim, why don't you second it?
He did.
Second.
Great, we have a motion and a second. Is there any council comment on this item? Seeing none, is there any public comment on this item? Yes. Please come up, Gloria, so we have the...
I'm not sure I'm understanding this. I attended the meeting,
Can you just, can you please state your name and address?
Gloria Murphy, 164th Terrace.
Great, thank you, Gloria.
I attended the meeting the other night about the drainage program and
Yes.
the plan, the overall plan.
Yes.
And I didn't think anything was going to start until they developed that plan, and it was going to take them a year. And now I'm seeing a purchase order for engineering services for Green Meadows, for, I'm assuming it's contractors to work on drainage. I'm confused as to why this is happening now ahead of the plan.
Absolutely, good question, good question. I'll answer the question. Thank you. And I may call up Rod, so. So what, you're exactly right. So the other evening, at the Drainage Committee, we looked at and discussed the overall drainage plan for the town, and we have a grant for a contract to go ahead and do that. That should be completed by the end of the year. We actually have a series of drainage projects that are already in the works, based on the knowledge that we already have. We will, when this plan comes in place, obviously, it'll be very helpful to fit everything together, but we have not stopped all our projects based on that, because we know we can do individual engineering and understand what needs to be done in different areas. Rod, if I've missed, are we good? Okay. So that's kind of where we are. But it's a great observation, and clearly the preference is to get that plan in place so that it's clear everything that needs to be done in the priority. So, great question. All right, any other public comment? Seeing none, close public comment. Please call the roll.
Yes.
Okay. Councilmember Hartman?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jablonski?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
All right, thank you all for coming out. Appreciate it.